When I was 16, I moved from Croatia to a small town in New Jersey. My English was not very good, so I thought it practical to focus on math and science. The guidance counselor agreed and recommended I take math, chemistry, and biology. Well, that biology class was by far the most challenging endeavor of my entire academic career. The textbook was a compilation of long and incomprehensible words like endoplasmic reticulum. Meanwhile, over in math and chemistry classes, we learned about numbers, equations, universal symbols, all of which made a whole lot more sense. Naturally, I gravitated towards the physical sciences and developed a subconscious aversion to anything biology related. I eventually got my PhD in physical chemistry, the most mathematical kind of chemistry. 12 years later, I was preparing to apply for faculty jobs in chemistry, and I had to figure out what research problem to focus on. I happened to be sitting in a talk about global energy, and I heard a staggering statistic. The amount of energy emitted by the sun that strikes the Earth in about 1 hour is greater than the global energy consumption in an entire year. This means that if we learn how to harvest that energy, we can power the planet on sunlight alone. It was immediately clear to me that my research had to focus on harvesting solar energy so that it could be put to use. We already use solar energy in the form of solar panels, which make electricity when the sun is shining. But what we haven't quite figured out is how to store solar energy inside chemical bonds to make fuels. If we can solve this problem, we can replace fossil fuels with solar fuels. As a chemistry professor at CU, I design and study materials that harvest sunlight and funnel that energy into new chemical bonds. In my lab, we make nanoparticles of various sizes and shapes. Some of them look like this, only 100 million times smaller. They are really good at absorbing sunlight. But on their own, they're simply too slow at making the new chemical bonds that constitute molecules of fuel. So what we have to do is funnel the absorbed energy to different molecules called catalysts, which drastically speed up chemical reactions without being consumed. This combination of light harvesting and catalysis is a lot like natural photosynthesis. In fact, you might say that what we're trying to do is artificial photosynthesis. I first looked for synthetic catalysts to pair up with our nanoparticles, but they simply don't work so well. Then, I met a biochemist who works on enzymes. Enzymes are biological catalysts. With enzymes, reactions can be 1,000,000 times faster than without them. An enzyme molecule looks something like this, and it's about the same size as our nanoparticles. So we thought if the artificial catalyst didn't work so well, maybe the enzymes would. This, much to my surprise, brought me back to the one place I never thought to look: biology. We combine nanoparticles that harvest sunlight with the enzyme that catalyzes hydrogen production in a bacterium. And with light shining on a vial with 10 trillion structures just like this, we made hydrogen. In other words, we made a solar fuel. Since then, we've been studying how the solar energy in the form of electrons transfers from a nanoparticle to an enzyme. By doing that, we're learning how to maximize the efficiency of solar energy conversion. In the future, we hope to use enzymes to create fuels that store even more energy than hydrogen, as well as to make other valuable molecules found in nature. If we can continue to isolate the specific enzymes that catalyze the reactions that we're interested in and drive them directly with sunlight, the possibilities are immense. 21 years after graduating high school, I have not only made peace with biology, but I have found inspiration for my research in the workings of nature. I am finally, enthusiastically learning the language of biology to uncover the lessons that will help us harvest solar energy better. Thank you.